Just on a hike this morning, and glad you guys enjoyed the Million Reasons Why video about why someone would spend time off-grid. Well, today I'm going to focus on the opposite side of the argument. Million reasons why not. Maybe some people share that view. So let's explore those reasons today. Spending time off-grid does require some degree of physical fitness, whether you're working on the land or have a property or just going for a hike. So that is a major downfall, unfortunately. There is trip and fall risks. As you get older, it may not be as easy to get around off-grid. So certainly there are a lot of accessible places out there for being out in the wilderness. There are some places like some national and provincial parks that have a lot of accessible areas and boardwalks so that you can enjoy nature without having to bushwhack it. So I don't think that's a good enough reason to not spend time off-grid. There's certainly areas where you can go, where you can just relax. You might not be bushwhacking it, but you can still enjoy nature. There's more of the honey mushrooms we saw in last week's video. Beautiful. Time and money, another potential issue for not living off grid. So let's explore both of those. So money. So if you live off grid, you're going to set up your place. There is money involved. Even if you're getting all the resources to build your cabin off the land, you got your chainsaws, your ATVs to get into your land there. And of course, you're going to want to wood stove, stuff like that. So there is an initial financial investment, obviously, if you're buying land or you're building a cabin or something like that. Even if you're camping off grid, you're getting your camping gear, your canoes, your kayaks, whatnot. So there is a financial investment. If you have land, certainly there's taxes involved, depending on your area, I guess, how much you have to pay. Certainly we have the Managed Tax Forest Incentive Program. So we're only paying a little over $200 for 170 acres just to manage the land, to give back to the land. So you can look into something like that to reduce your costs of living off grid. But yeah, money, it's a big thing. And also too, if you're living off grid, spending a lot of time off grid, maybe you're not working as much. So your income is going to be lower. So you have to decide whether that's okay. If you want to sort of live, just off the land, and do you need a large income to do that? So you have to be prepared that you may not make as much, or maybe you think outside the box and you're able to do your work remotely, and so you can still make an income and live off grid. That would be the ideal situation. And let's explore time. Certainly, you need the time to spend off grid, and obviously if you're working full time like me, it's a little bit challenging to spend a lot of your time off grid. So you're managing both, you're juggling both worlds, which can be pretty difficult. So something to consider, how much time you want to spend off land, and maybe over time, you're gradually sorting out the rest of your life so you can actually transition more to spending more time off grid. But there is a time commitment to living off grid. You will not have all the amenities that you're used to. So certainly any time spent off grid is amazing, but you may not have access to fresh water, having your shower. You have to go and, get your water from the local lake or river or something like that, or a spring. So that's a lot of physical labor as well. And it can be challenging setting up these things. So you really realize how much water you use. You don't want to take any of that stuff for granted. So just be aware, if you're spending time on the land, a lot of these amenities, they may be a little bit more challenging to acquire, and they may not be what you're used to. And you may have to change your standards a little bit. Really enjoying the fall colors today. It's just fantastic. We've had several really, really cold nights, and now the days are a little bit warmer, so it's nice to get out and hike. Wow, Ontario fall is amazing. It's one of my favorite times of year. Also, springtime is a personal favorite as well. And if you guys watched my video, they thought I was crazy. You know how hard it can be to get land if you don't have a house or something before you buy the land, if you're interested in buying land off grid. So that's something that's a big deterrent, as banks not really letting you get vacant land without any kind of collateral. So got ours basically by a little fluke, some mistakes the bank made, but something to consider, that banks may not be willing to lend you the money. Love this shieldy countryside here. You can see all the rocks in the woods here. A lot of people do bouldering and stuff like that. It's just amazing. Some pretty big rocks in here. There's a big one back there, like this one. Centrally back in there. That's really tall. That's awesome. Take a look at that. That'd be a lot of fun for someone to climb on. Holy moly. Transportation, that is a huge thing. So how will you get to spend time off grid? A lot of these places, even Crown Land, is some distance from local cities. So not easily accessible by a bus route. You kind of need a car, and then sometimes you need an ATV, which also ties into needing more money. So that can be a bit of a challenge for everyone, really. And accessibility during all seasons. So you know, trying to get into your property, maybe you'll need a snowmobile to get there, or some kind of other all-terrain vehicle to kind of get in there when things are really rough or when things are really muddy in the fall. So really something to consider is, do you have the transportation necessary to get to these off-grid locations? Now, some places like Algonquin Park, it's a provincial park in Ontario, provides bus rides from major city centers, so that if you don't have a car but you really want to enjoy what Algonquin Park has to offer, there are rides offered. Now with COVID-19, I think those have been kind of canceled temporarily, but hopefully things will settle down in a while, and we'll get back on track that way. It is challenging to find off-grid properties. So in some countries, there's not even a lot of space for, you know, off-grid land and people to purchase off-grid land. So it'll be a bit of a challenge for you to find the properties. There are different groups out there that can help you find them. I found my property on Kijiji of all places, but finding the land itself may be difficult based on geographical location, and also trying to find any for sale in your area. Well, take a look at the colors up ahead of me there. Isn't that incredible? Pretty soon, the tamaracks will start to change color, be a lot more yellow than reds and oranges. But man, that is a photograph. Sorry guys, Royce has his bell on today. We're in bear territory. He looks like a little bear, that's why he's got his orange on. I know the bell can be a bit annoying in the videos, and I apologize, but better safe than sorry. You guys wouldn't be seeing this video actually if we got mauled by a bear, so there you go. He's having a fun old time out here, aren't you? He's on squirrel duty and chipmunk duty. He has lots of fun. As soon as he hears the magical call of a red squirrel, off he goes. Another reason for the bell is that I can find him. He tends to sometimes dash off after a squirrel and disappear into thick undercover, and I don't exactly know where he is. So at least if I can hear the bell dinging somewhere, I have a general idea of where he is. He also has his Finester tracker on, which I will review for you guys in an upcoming video. So gross over there. Woo! Heart attack birds. I will review the Finester GPS tracker that can be used off-grid in a future video. I know I asked you guys on Facebook if you're interested, and had quite a lot of interest actually. So we will do that for you in a little while. Now hunting season's in full swing. That's something to consider as well if you want to live directly off the land while you're off-grid. Acquiring food may not be that easy. I know a lot of hunters, fishers, and gatherers make it look easy online, and it is difficult. There's a lot of time spent in the woods, a lot of knowledge there. So are you willing to put in that time investment to learn how to do that, and to get your food and to process it, and how you store your food off-grid as well? So that's another important consideration. You don't have the amenities, going back to what we talked about earlier. You may not have a fridge, but maybe you'll have a propane fired fridge, or you'll make some kind of a cellar, or you'll smoke your meat and fish and dry your mushrooms or whatnot. So another thing that may be a deterrent to some is acquiring food on the land. Maintenance of a property. So if you do choose to buy land off-grid, there's a lot of maintenance involved. I mean, let me tell you, every year I have to maintain the trails. It seems like the forest wants to reclaim everything I've done over the past several years. So there's a lot of chainsaw work to be done, maintaining the forest, and maintaining your buildings, and things like that. And equipment breaks, so you have to have that knowledge off-grid. You can't necessarily run your snowmobile into the shop or your ATV into the shop to get fixed. You may have to acquire additional skills, and that can be a deterrent. Now here comes the sun. So another thing to consider is getting medical attention off grid. So I've had a few situations off grid where, it's been a little bit hairy. One time stung by a lot of wasps, like thank goodness I wasn't allergic. Another time I had a cardiac emergency off grid with my friend Birch, and we had to figure out how to get me out of there. So when you're off grid, you aren't necessarily close to medical help, so you want to take a wilderness first aid course to help yourself if you end up in a hairy situation. But being aware, especially with underlying medical conditions, being off grid may not be the thing for you. Bryce has managed to dig around at a root here, just having a break. His jaw is so strong now. Tries to wreck everything. That gives him a good workout though. Looks like I found a little pile of porcupine poop just sitting in this rock, this crevice in the rock, and there's all this poop. It's pretty funny. Well, it's time for a little bit of a break. Just want to show you guys this moss. Look at boing. So comfortable to lay down on this stuff in the woods. There's a beautiful outcrop here with some moss on it. Perfect place to have a little rest. Don't know if you guys can hear that kind of sound. That's basically chipmunks doing an aerial warning that there's a predator in the area. So we'll have to keep our eyes out. Could be an eagle, could be a hawk. Quite a few of them alarming. Well, that's the view that I was on this hike for. What a beautiful view this fall, and one of the reasons why I love being off-grid. So I've given you some reasons why some people may argue that spending time off-grid isn't a good thing. What have people told you in the past when you've told them you want to spend some time off-grid? Pop that down below in the comments. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video today, and don't forget I'm going to try to hit 40,000 subscribers by this time next year in 2021. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video, and hit the bell button so that we can share these videos in your feed so you can see them more frequently. Hope you guys have a good week as always. Take care.